Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rabihatul Saadah binti Ahmad. My metric number is 2019310415. Today, in this video, I would like to talk and explain the research report based on the topic factors that affecting firm profitability. So in this video, there are 5 chapters that I would like to explain, which is the first one is introduction, literature review, data and methodology, finding and analysis, and the last one is conclusion and recommendation. So, without wasting our time, let's move to the first chapter, which is introduction. So now, let's see the first point in the introduction, which is 1.1, background of study. Profitability is a necessary condition for a company's long-term development and growth. The firm's sustainability factor has a significant influence on its achievement of financial goals. These elements are critical for maximizing economic development, job creation, innovation, and also technological advancement. The primary goal of the firm is to maximize the profits. A firm that lacks in the sustainability will be unable to attract the outside investment, and also they will fail in the future. Next is 1.2, which is about the problem statement. Firm and sector experience significant problems due to economic inconsistency between 2002 and 2011. As a result, the analysis' main question was whether a change in working capital structure will influence a company's profitability. The majority of the businesses understand the idea and necessity of profitability, but they do not know how to improve or what variable can influence their profitability. The next part in this research paper is 1.3, which is research question. So the research question in this research paper is, what are the factors that affect the firm profitability? The next one is research objective. This paper objective is to examine the firm level factors that affect the firm profitability. Now let's see the next point, which is the scope of the study. The scope of the study for this research paper is about the issue of the factors that affect the firm profitability. This research has set up a research setting in the range of public listed companies in Malaysia. This study has been conducted in the year of 2020. The method has been applying in this research paper is regression method. Next is 1.6, which is limitations of study. The limitations of this research study is only in the area of public listed companies in Malaysia. This research study also limited in using the regression method only and does not involve any other method. This study was also limited in the year 2020 at the latest. And lastly, the last point in the introduction, which is 1.7, significance of study. The significance of this research study is to find out the companies or organization can determine the factors that can affect their firm's profitability. Now, let's move on to the chapter 2, which is about the literature review. On this chapter 2, 2.1 explain about firm growth theory on firm profitability. The theory of the organization growth and the profitability is known as a foundation for theoretical investigation on the act of company growth and also their profitability. The resource-based view RBV thesis hold that companies with a higher profitability rates are more likely to increase, but with a varied explanation. This is the review of literature and research hypotheses. So for the first independent variable, which is the firm size, the term firm size refers to the size of a business company and its operation. In this research, firm size is measured as a logarithm of total sale. So this is the firm size hypothesis, which is for HO, there is no significant relationship between firm size and return on asset. And for HA, there is a significant relationship between firm size and return on asset. So the next IV is liquidity. Liquidity is a measure of the ability of a company to disburse its short-term liabilities, those that are due in less than 1 year. It is usually shown by what the company owes to what it owns as a ratio or a percentage. So this is the hypothesis for liquidity. So for HO, there is no significant relationship between liquidity and return on asset, and for HA, there is a significant relationship between liquidity and return on asset. The third IV is leverage. Leverage is used in an investment or project of debt borrowed from the capital. As a result, the potential return from a project will be increased. The hypothesis of leverage is HO. There is no significant relationship between leverage and return on asset. And for HA, there is a significant relationship between leverage and return on asset. The next IV is growth. In terms of finance, the growth firm means a firm with unusually fast growth record in comparison to its competitors in the industry. For the hypothesis, for HO, there is no significant relationship between growth and return on asset, and for HA, there is a significant relationship between growth and return on asset. The next IV is company efficiency. Efficiency means the highest performance level using the lowest input to achieve the highest output level. To achieve effectiveness, the number of unnecessary resources used, including personal time and energy, must be reduced. In this research, asset turnover ratio is used to measure the company efficiency. So the hypothesis for the company efficiency is, for HO, there is no significant relationship between company efficiency and return on asset, and for HA, there is a significant relationship between company efficiency and return on asset. And for the last IV is age. Age is the duration of the existence of a being or a thing. The corporate age may be defined as the number of years the company has been incorporated. So for the hypothesis for age, for HO, there is no significant relationship between age and the return on asset, and for HA, there is a significant relationship between age and return on asset. Now we will move to the chapter 3, which is data and method. Under chapter 3, we have a data collection. In this data collection, the population organization of the unit of analysis used in this research study are public listed companies in Bursa Malaysia. This research used data collection as of in the period of study in year 2020. The types of analysis used in this research is cross-sectional data analysis. As for the sources of data collection, the data was taken from the database that are used Econ and Data Stream database. The next one is sample selection. The population that being researched in this research is the Sharia compliant securities, which is under the sector of construction. The number of securities involved as for population of the public listed companies are 52 companies as at November 2020. In this research, the number of population for public listed company in the Bursa Malaysia that can be referred based on the table of sample size given, which is 44 listed public company in the Bursa Malaysia.
Next, this is the method of analysis in this research report. Now, this is the research framework that have been included in the report.
For regression analysis, the analysis method used is based on cross-sectional regression analysis. Firm profitability is measured by return on asset as the dependent variable, while the independent variable was firm size, liquidity, leverage, growth, company efficiency, and age. Regression analysis is a set of statistical methods used to measure the connection of a variable with one or more relationship between the independent variable. And now this is about chapter 4, which is finding and analysis. So the dependent variable is return on asset, and the independent variable are firm size, liquidity, leverage, growth, company efficiency, and return the natural logarithm of a number. So using this variable, we have generate a finding using the eView software.
So here, this is the finding that have been generated using the eView software.
next is after we have generate the finding in the eView software, we also have generate the F statistic and also adjusted R-square. So for the F statistic, p-value of the F statistic is significant at significant level of p lower than 0.05. It indicates that the research model is accepted. And for the adjusted R-square, it indicates that firm size, liquidity, leverage, growth, company efficiency, and return the natural logarithm of a number can explain 22.371% of the return on asset. The remaining of 77.629% can be explained by the other independent variables. And this is the regression analysis that based on the finding that we have generated. So for the first IV, which is firm size, this result confirmed that large companies promote their products on a variety of marketplaces, which boost their performance and increase their profitability. Therefore, we must reject our first hypothesis that state that there is no significant relationship between firm size and return on asset. So the next IV is liquidity. As a measure of firm liquidity, the current ratio and return on asset do not demonstrate any significant relationship. This is due to the fact that profitability does not depend on cash basis and liquidity is essential in financial institution. So our second hypothesis is failed to be rejected since there is a significant relationship between liquidity and return on asset. The next one is leverage. Leverage is directly related to profitability. Financial leverage is well recognized as a capital structure policy for a firm. So we reject our third hypothesis, which state that it is insignificantly related between leverage and return on asset. The next one is growth. The finding of our study also match with the sum theory that state firms with high return on asset are more profitable than those who low return on asset. So based on our result, we must reject HO, which state that growth and return on asset have no significant relationship. The next analysis on the company efficiency. In spite of this, our results are in line with the finding of the sum scholar. According to the finding, a significant relationship was established between company efficiency and return on asset. So our fifth hypothesis is failed to be rejected since there is a significant relationship between company efficiency and return on assets. And lastly, the last analysis is on the age. This result in our report is in line with the sum scholar that initiate that firm age has a significant relationship with return on asset. So based on our finding, we must reject our HO, which is state that age and return on asset do not have any significant relationship.
And now this is the regression model for the findings.
And now we have reached to the chapter 5, which is the conclusions and recommendations. So for conclusion, based on our study using regression analysis, there are two factors, that is liquidity and company efficiency, that can be established as a factor affecting firm profitability based on the 6 independent variables explored in our study. Moreover, based on this research question and research objective, it can be concluded that the entire study on the factors is determined by firm profitability. And lastly, for the recommendations in our research report, we recommend to replicate this study for a different group of companies. It can be a different industrial segment or a more generic group, and thus compare the result with the one we found for the construction sector. The second recommendation, a longer period of analysis will be interesting, especially to observe the long-term movement of the companies over the two-dimensional analysis for firm profitability. The third recommendation is to execute a qualitative research in order to answer how the firm's manager observe the factors affecting firm profitability. And the last recommendation that we can recommend is researchers do some more elaborate statistical procedure, such as regression, will be able to give a deeper explanation regarding the relationship of this research.
So that's all from me. Thank you.